Good morning to everybody. Today we are going to study the remaining questions from journal. Already in the last class we studied the first example. This example is given in page number 44. These examples are given from page number 44 onwards from the Tamil Nadu Textbook Society 11th Accountancy. So first problem, first example, I already explained this question in the last class. Once again I explain. Somu, he is a proprietor of the business. He commences business with a cash of rupees 50,000. In this question, in this transaction consists of two accounts. Number one, Somu, the proprietor, he contribute capital, so Somu's capital account. Number two, cash account. Cash account is the real account. Somu is the personal account. He gives capital or he gives cash into the business. So business receives this cash. So cash comes in. Cash is the real account. Cash comes in. Somu is the property, he is the giver. So debit the receiver, credit the giver is the answer. Is the rule of the personal account. So Somu's capital account is credited. Then cash comes into the business. Any cash comes in, the rule of real account is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Here cash comes in, so cash account is debited. So cash account debtor to Somu's capital account is the journal entry. This is a procedure for writing the account. You have to refer page number 44. 44 onwards. Remaining questions are in the question page number 46, 47. From 46 to 47, I want to explain now. So we will study the same question in the subsequent classes also. These are the examples. So try to refer the textbook and study. So please listen carefully for this question. Then illustration number 2, not an illustration, example number 2. Example, it is not an illustration, it is an example. Example number 2. Example number 2. This is given in page number 44. Page number 44. Bought goods for cash rupees 4,000. Somu, who is the proprietor of this business, we are writing the accounts of Somu. So we think that we are writing our account. So in this question, this is the transaction. This transaction consists of two accounts. Number one, goods account, and number two, cash account. Number one, goods account. Number two, cash account. Goods account is the real account. It is an asset. When we purchase the goods, it is an asset. The goods comes in our hand. The stock comes in our hand. Then cash is also a real account. In this question, both the accounts are real account. What is the rule of a real account? Debit what comes in. When we bought the goods, goods comes in. Cash goes out. Cash goes out. So the journal entry is, first we write the debit aspect, then we write the credit aspect. Then the journal entry consists of 5 accounts, already we studied 5 columns. Journal entry consists of 5 columns. This column is the date column, particulars, ledger folio, debit and credit. So So the journal entry is, for here you write the date, but in this question the date is not given. In the previous question the date is given 2020 January 1, but here the date is not given. So if you want, I want to give one date 2020 January 2. Already 2020 January 1 is given, already we wrote. So hereafter no need to write the year and month, only the date alone is enough. Here in the date column you write only the date January 2, only 2 is enough. Okay, then first write the debit aspect. Goods account debtor. 2, leave some space and write 2 cash account rupees. Here no need to write credit. Goods account debtor, it can be written as goods account DR2 cash account, but we can read in this way: goods account debtor to cash account, amount 4,000. Here we write the narration: goods being or goods bought for cash, and close the bracket. Then draw a single line only in the particulars column. This is the procedure for doing illustration number 2. Here I want to explain some more things here. He never used the word goods. Instead of goods, here we have to use another word. I want to explain now. Listen here. This question is not necessary. We already studied. This is a journal entry. Goods account debtor to cash account. Please listen here. If you write goods account, it is wrong actually, but we have to correct it. Goods account. Let us please listen here. Goods accounts are classified into 4 types. Number 1, purchases account. Number 2, purchases account. Number 2, sales account. Number 3, purchases return account. Then number 4, sales return account. Goods accounts are classified into 4 types, 4 ways. Goods are classified into 4 ways. Purchases, not 4 types, 4 ways. Number 1, purchases. Number 2, sales. Number 3, purchases return. Number 4, sales return. What is the meaning of purchases? We purchase some goods. Any goods purchased for the purpose of resales. Then only it is considered as a purchases. We purchase the goods. We are doing one business. We purchase the goods, and the purchased goods are sold. Then only it is considered as a sales. When the purchased goods are sold, it is called as sales. When any goods is purchased for resales purpose, then only it is considered as purchases. For example, we purchase one table. If we purchase the table, we never use the word purchases. Here you write table account, because our duty is not to sell the table. For our own purpose, we purchase the table. So if it is given as purchased table, you write it as furniture account. But purchased goods, bought goods, purchased goods, bought goods, same meaning. Purchased goods means the goods are bought for resales purpose. So hereafter we never use the word goods. Instead of goods, you use the word purchases. Okay, are you able to understand? We will solve that. Some more problems in the subsequent classes. At that time you will thorough in this area. Now you simply study from, it is a first question, so you studied as purchases account, not goods account. You never use the word goods. Instead of goods, you have to use the word purchases. When the goods are purchased for resale purpose, it is called as purchases. Purchases, sales, purchase return, sales return, these are all considered as a real account. These are all real account. Purchase account is a real account, sales account is a real account, purchase return account is also a real account, sales return account is also a real account. So, instead of goods account, we have to use the word purchases. Are clear? If you are not able to understand, you refer the textbook, page number 44. Okay, then bought goods for cash. Bought goods for cash consists of two accounts. Number one, purchases account, and number two, sales account, not a goods account. Purchases account and cash account. Both are real accounts. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. When we purchase goods, goods comes in, debit what comes in. So purchase account is debited. Cash goes out, so cash account is credited. So the journal entry is purchases account, not purchase account, purchases account, debtor to cash account. Narration, bought goods for cash. You simply write the question, bought goods for cash. Narration, you simply write the brief history of a transaction. You simply write this question, bought goods for cash. That's all. Okay, then next is example. I am going to explain. First question. Somu started business with the cash. Two accounts, cash account and capital account. Cash account is a real account. Somu is the personal account. We simply write as capital account for the purpose of identifying that the capital is a personal account. That is why we use the word Somu's account. Instead of Somu, we simply write as capital account is also correct answer. Cash account to capital account. Then second question, bought goods for cash. Two accounts are, number one, purchases account, not goods account, purchases account and cash account. Both are real account. Purchases is a real account, cash is also a real account. Debit what comes in, goods comes in, cash goes out. So purchases account to cash account is the answer. Okay, then we study the remaining portion. Purchases means when the goods are purchased for resale purposes, it is called as purchases. When the purchased goods are sold, it is called as a sales. If we are having some furniture or computer or some jewels, if it is sold, it is not considered as a sales. If the table is sold, we use the word table account or furniture account. If you sold a computer, we never use a sales account. We write it as computer account. The asset name is specified, mentioned. Then what is when a purchase is written? If we bought goods from our supplier, we are not satisfied with that product, so the proprietor returned the goods. It is called as a purchase return. We bought goods, some goods are damaged, or some goods are damaged, or if we are not satisfied about the product, we have the right to return the product to the person who supplies. So when we return the goods to the supplier, it is called as a purchase return. Then what is a sales return? We sold the goods. Already we sold the goods to our customers. Our customers are not satisfied about our products. So customers are returning the product to us. So it is considered as a sales return. Once again I explain this area. These questions are frequently comes again and again. So we have to thoroughly study this portion here. Purchases means if any goods are purchased for resales, it is called considered as a purchases. Sales, the purchased goods are sold, it is called as a sales. Purchase return, we purchased goods from the supplier, the person who supplied the product. We already bought some goods. If we are not satisfied about the product, we have the right to return the product. It is called as a purchase return. Likewise, we sold the goods to our customers. The customers are not satisfied about our product, so the customer returned the product to us. So it is considered as a sales return. So dear students, I just completed just two examples. In this class I am going to write 3 more example. Please listen here. These classes are initial classes, so you are not able to understand easily, but you listen the class, whether it is understand or not, you simply listen it and refer the textbook, study the portion, illustration of page number 44 onwards or chapter 3 onwards. You study again and again. You are thorough in this portion. Then the same question will be repeated again and again, so we can easily study the portion journal. If you are thorough in the journal, then only we will do the subsequent chapters. In the subsequent chapters are based on journal. If you are having a thorough knowledge about the journal, then only we can solve the remaining problems. So I give more concentrations for studying the journal. Theory questions, you just study, read it and study it. Only 3 or 4 questions you are going to write. Remaining in the examination point of view, you will write the problems. So give more concentrations on the problems. Give less importance to theory portion, but the theory portion is also necessary if you are having an idea about the rules, regulations and its principles. Then only we can understand the journal entries also. So study the theory portion also. From the examination point of view, you give less importance to theory portion and give more importance to problems. Then 3 more questions we will study today. Then example number 3. Example number 3. Purchased goods from Rahul for rupees 10,000. This is the transaction. In the last class I explained there are 2 types of transaction. Number 1, cash transaction, and number 2, credit transaction. Cash transaction means the amount is paid immediately. We purchased goods and the amount is paid immediately. It is called as a cash transaction. If the amount is paid later, it is a credit transaction. How can we know it is a cash transaction or credit transaction? The only thing is, if the name is given, Rahul, the name is given, very important point, if the name is given, it is a credit transaction. Sometimes purchased goods for cash, it is a cash transaction. Purchased goods from Rahul, the name is given, so it is a credit transaction. So what are the 2 accounts? Number 1, purchased goods. We never use the word goods. Instead of goods, we use the word purchases. First account is, this transaction consists of 2 accounts. First account is purchases account and the second account is Rahul account. Purchases account is the real account. Rahul account is the personal account. Purchased goods comes in. So the rule of the real account is debit what comes in. Rahul is the giver of these goods, so he is the giver. Debit what comes in, so this account is debited. Rahul is the giver, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Then one more thing, if one account is debited, automatically another account is credited. That is the basic principle of double entry system. If one account is debited, if purchase account is debited, automatically Rahul account is credited. If you find out one answer, the another answer automatically comes. One account is debited, another account is credited. That is the rule of the double entry system. So the journal entry is purchases, debit aspect is entered first. Purchases account debtor to Rahul account. how do you write it in the journal? Okay, in your accountancy notebook contains these columns, so no need to draw the columns. All the columns are given in your accountancy notebook. Dear students, you try to do the illustrations also in your accountancy notebook. You buy one accountancy notebook and write all the question. What are the question I explained in the blackboard? You should write. So please listen here, very important portion. If you are thorough in this area, then only we will solve the remaining chapters. So what are the columns? 5 columns. All the columns are given in your textbook itself. Our duty is just to write the headings, that's all. First column date, second column particulars, third column ledger folio. This column is debit, this column is credit. Then first write the debit aspect. Date, no, the date is not given, no need to write the date. Purchases account debtor. 2, leave some space here, 2 Rahul account. Amount on credit rupees 10,000. In both the columns, in the debit column as well as credit column, you will write. Then here you write on narration. Without narration, the journal entry is not completed. So try to write the narration also. Narration is purchased goods. You simply write the question. Simply write the transaction. Purchased goods from Rahul on credit. Close the bracket and draw a single line here. Okay, example number 3 is also completed. Then example number 4. Example number 4. Example number 4. Cash paid to Rahul rupees 4,000. Please listen here. Total amount payable to we just refer the previous transaction. Total amount payable to Rahul is equal to 10,000. Out of 10,000, now we paid only 4,000. Remaining 6,000 is considered as an outstanding amount. So this is a balance. Outstanding, the word outstanding will study in the next class. The balance amount is 6,000. Then here, what are the two accounts? We can easily, it is directly given the question. Number 1 is cash account. Number 2 is Rahul account. Two accounts are number 1 cash account, number 2 Rahul account. Cash is the real account. Rahul is the personal account. What is the rule of a real account? Debit to what comes in, credit to what goes out. We paid cash to Rahul. So when we pay cash, the cash goes out. Rahul is the receiver of this cash. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So this account is credited. Rahul is the receiver, debit the receiver. Then how do you write the journal entry? First write the debit aspect. Rahul account debtor to cash account. This is a procedure. Then we write in the journal. How do you write in the journal? The journal consists of 5 columns. All the columns are given in your accountancy notebook. If you are not having accountancy notebook, you will draw these columns. That's all. Then this is the first example. You write all things. If you write 10 examples, automatically these columns you are able to understand. You can memorize these columns. These columns are come to your mind automatically. Then first column date, Second column particulars. Third column ledger folio. This column is debit and this column is credit. So cash goes out. Date column, date is not given, no need to write the date column. Here you write Rahul account debtor. Rahul is the receiver of the cash. To cash account, cash goes out. Here you write the amount 4,000. Here you write the narration. You simply write this question, that's all. Cash paid to Rahul. You draw a line only in the particulars column alone. Okay, then illustration number 4 is also completed. I want to explain illustration number 5 also. Then illustration number 5 is illustration number 5 is withdrew cash for personal use. Rupees 8,000. Personal use rupees 8,000. What are the two accounts? Number 1 is cash account. Number 2 is withdrew. Here, if any amount is withdrew, it is considered as, instead of writing withdrew, here you write drawings account. Drawings. First account is drawing account, second account is cash account. Here you study one thing. What is the meaning of capital? What is the meaning of capital? Already we studied in the last class. Capital means if any amount is introduced by the proprietor into the business, any amount introduced by the proprietor into the business is called as capital. Example number 1. Please go to example number 1. In this question, Somu is the proprietor. So, Somu's capital, we write Somu's capital. Somu, the proprietor of the business, who contributed 50,000 rupees into the business. So, Somu's capital account, we write, instead of writing capital, we use the word Somu's capital. So, it is a personal account. The same Somu, who is the proprietor, withdrew any money for personal use, it is called as a drawing. What is the meaning of drawing? Drawings means if the proprietor withdrew money for personal use, very important, personal use, any amount is withdrew for personal use, it is considered as drawing. If he withdrew money for office use, sometimes he deposited amount into the bank and the amount is withdrew from the bank for office use, it is not considered as drawing. Any amount withdrew by the proprietor for personal use, it is considered as drawing. So, for your identification, here you write Somu's drawing account. Somu is the proprietor. So, only drawing account is enough. For the purpose of identification purpose, you write Somu's drawing account. Only capital account is enough. For the purpose of your identification, you write Somu account. If you write Somu, we can easily identify it is a personal account. That's all. Then two accounts are, number 1, Somu's drawing account and cash account. Okay. This account is a Somu, like name is given, so it is a personal account. Cash is the real account. Somu withdrew money from the business. So, cash goes out of the business. Sometimes you are confused about the capital and drawing. So, please, I will explain these things in the subsequent classes. If the drawing is given, it is always comes to the debit side. If the capital comes, it is always in the credit side. So, cash goes out of the business. Somu is the receiver of this cash. So, the journal entry is debit the receiver. This account is debited. Cash goes out. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So the journal entry is drawings account debtor to cash account. You simply write drawings account is enough. If you add the word so it is not at all wrong. Somo's drawing account, but you specify whether it is a drawing or capital. So if you simply write Somo, it is wrong. Somo's drawing account, the word drawing is very, very important. Somo's drawing account debtor to cash account. How do you write in the journal? Draw 5 columns. Draw 5 columns. This column is date column, particulars, ledger folio, debit, credit. Date is not given, no need to write. Here you write drawing account. Otherwise you write Somo's drawing account, it is not wrong. But in the textbook only the word drawing is given. You are not confused. Somo's drawing account debtor to cash account. It is a sole proprietorship business. So is the only proprietor. So no need to specify his name. If it is a partnership business, Somo and Sundar, Somo's drawing, Sundar drawing, we can write separately. But here drawings means the Somo will draw the amount, that's all. So the name is not necessary. For the identification purpose, you write Somo's drawing, it is not at all a wrong one. Somo's drawing account debtor to cash account, the amount is 8,000 rupees. What is the narration? You simply write the question, that's all. Withdrew cash for personal use. Withdrew cash for personal use. Somo withdrew cash for, it is understood. Somo withdrew cash for personal use. Okay, dear students. I have actually prepared 13 examples. 13 examples are in my hand. Now I want to close this class now. The next illustration 6 to 13. Try to study the next class. So my dear students, you never use the guide. I tell the same thing again and again. If you use the guide, you are not able to study. The textbook, it is simply given all the illustration, everything is given systematically and properly. So you study the textbook and write the answer in the accountancy notebook. You buy a notebook, account notebook you buy and write the theory portion as well as the problems you write one by one. Otherwise you mark the theory question in the textbook and do all the problems, all the example, all the illustrations. You do one by one. Actually, in the third chapter, first 5 illustration I will take in the subsequent classes. First, you are thorough about the journal, then only we can prepare the accounting equation and other things. So I will explain the first 5 illustration later. You do the illustration number 6 onwards. You please refer it. Then before that, examples, 13 examples are given. I just explain only 5 examples. Remaining examples I will explain the next class. God bless you.